Welcome to Throwdown, week number 4. We are changing some things this week.
We shortened the format. We took the workout demo from a separate video. We're including it here. This week we got commentary with Brandon and Mike. Then we're gonna finish out with tips and strategies so you guys can optimize the workout.
All right, guys, this week's episode is brought to you by our online training program, The Design. Go over to trainingthinktank.com and you can get a week free. Got a huge shout out. 3 new athletes made the games this week. Will Morad, congrats after your 50th sanctional. You did it, dude.
Nice job, Will. Congrats, man. Then we've also got Andrea Niesler. She made it on the OC3 team.
They crushed it.
Yeah, no kidding. Then we got Jeremy McGahey. Fittest man in Kenya, just got his invite this past week.
The man. Congratulations, guys. We really are proud of you. Really excited to announce this one. Max wrote it. Let's go over to Max.
This week's workout is 3 different scored workouts. The first is a 3-minute AMRAP, 10 wall balls, 10 cals row. Then a 2-minute rest, then another 3-minute AMRAP, which is 5 squat snatches, and then 10 cals row. Then another 2-minute rest, and the last workout is a 3-minute AMRAP, 5 thrusters, 10 calories row. The standards for this week's workout are as follows. For all 3 AMRAPs, the row calories, you gotta get to 10 calories with your feet in the straps before you get out, and each round you have to make sure that you reset your monitor. For the first AMRAP, the wall ball, it's a 30-pound ball for the men, 20 for a woman, 10-foot target for men, 9 for a woman. Depth, you have to go below parallel, and then obviously you have to hit the target. For the second AMRAP, for the squat snatches, bar starts on the floor. You have to get it overhead in one motion, pass through parallel, stand all the way to the top. And for the thrusters, you have to go down, below parallel, and then full lock out of the top in one motion.
This week we've got the demo included in this video. We had Mike do the demo this week, and afterward, you and Mike paired up to do some commentary. Let's take a look.
See the past me.
All right, here we go. TTTD number 3.
TTT TD.
TTTTD number
missing
3.
a T.
Number 4. Yeah, so on paper, this one looked not so bad, but then right in the middle of it, pretty spicy. I actually, the night before, I knew the workout, so I was at home watching my 19.1 video, trying to get some like row split ideas, and I like went out into the garage and was practicing how long 10 cal row might take.
so nervous of being on film.
Mainly because Chris was like, hey, I'm gonna demo you this week. I was like, oh, I gotta get it together. So.
What was your strategy on this first one?
The first one was the wall balls are what they are. I knew like no matter what, those gotta be unbroken and just focus on fast transitions. The row pace, I planned on staying like 16 to 1800 calorie per hour. I knew it'd be like a little faster than what you did in 19.1. Obviously it's like only 3 minutes long and it's really powerful and it's only 10 calories. So like that was just like an idea there. But like I feel like if you're pushing above 1800, that's gonna like gas you out. So like it's not that much higher than what you would row for 19.1, but anything above like 18 to 2000 starts like, you start like really using up all your gas, yeah. And it like it's actually pretty perfect. Just, I also like this workout, I just want to see like, get an idea of like where my rowing's at right now on like this short kind of high power stuff. And like, it was right where I expected. Not so great.
On the low end of high power?
Yeah, so like I would compare this to like what my 1K would be right now, and I don't think I'd be anywhere near like my best 1K.
It's funny because I thought it was 4-minute AMRAPs at first.
Yeah.
And so somebody asked me, hey, how many rounds? And I was like, oh, you get 5 rounds.
You said that to me before, and I was like,
well, in my mind, I was thinking, well, just over 45 seconds a round will get you 5 rounds in 4 minutes. But then I realized it was 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Once you guys were going, I was like, oh, crap, I hope no one tries to hold that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just like a pace that you get on, you know, like, all right, if I just keep trying to like grind above this, I'm just gonna die. And like, you're also looking ahead to the next ones too, because like 2 minutes rest is like, it's a good amount of rest, but it's not a lot if you're going
it's
like
just
that
enough
hard.
to go hard in the first round of the next AMRAP, really is what happens.
But like, I also like didn't want to pace this one too much because I knew like, I just want to get the best scores across the board on it and like get that kind of practice in today and not necessarily be like, oh, sandbag the first one and like crush the next 2. And like Josh next to me here
he was
flying.
killing the row.
He was flying.
Yeah.
His wall balls were actually faster than me too. Like he's taller, so like he's just a hard guy to beat on this. Like workouts like this where the movements are that simple, it's so much about your transition back and forth. So like to me, the only strategy on this first one was how hard are you gonna row?
Did your row pace fall off on this one, or did you keep it the same?
I actually kept it about the same.
To me, it looked like you almost were able to speed up after the first round. I think maybe was your slowest round.
Yeah, I think so.
As far as row pace,
I held back a little bit because I just, again, like didn't know what it would feel like.
Yeah.
I thought the 30-pound wall balls would catch up a little bit. They weren't ever that bad.
Well, it
to me.
ended up being 40 total for you, which
Yeah,
is something that you
nothing.
could do that unbroken pretty easily.
Yeah. And with him, I just started racing him a little bit because he was like, "Well, we're already done," and that was fast. So like, yeah, I definitely could have gone harder there. Like, I'm not in like the best shape right now in terms of like recovering between these. So, like if I was like getting close to competing or in competition season, like I would need to go a lot harder on that and just trust that like I'm going to be able to recover and I'm in better aerobic shape.
Oh, Chris is making me dizzy.
Yeah.
The pull back.
I told him beforehand, I was like, yo, I'm gonna move my rower. I'm trying to strategize a little bit. I don't wanna like walk back and forth from barbell to rower, save some time.
Oh, hey, Rob. Look at how big his arms are.
That dude is huge.
Yeah, he is pretty stacked.
How old is he?
He's gonna be 35 this year.
We've got some really large masters. Vince, my judge, is one of my athletes, and he's a beast of a man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're all stacked.
Yeah,
And good.
I wanna be like him
really
when I grow
fit.
up. Yeah.
What was your thought during the 2-minute rest? I guess maybe the bigger question would be, what would you recommend now that you've done it for everybody that will be doing it on Saturday?
Yeah, so I had a plan for what I wanted to row on the first one. I thought that was really simple. It was like, okay, wall balls unbroken, and then try and stick to 16 to 1800 on the row. Looking back now, I could probably have sped that up some. Going into this one, I was like, all right, now it's just about keeping the barbell speed fast and the transitions really fast, and then just keep maintaining a row pace. I thought, okay, like I know touch and go on barbell like this for this weight is not that hard. It's only 5 reps. Should be able to put me back on the rower to like keep a pretty steady pace. So I knew like if anything, the barbell wouldn't slow me down on this. It would be the row pace that would drop. So it was just about me trying to maintain row pace here. What I mean by that is like not dropping below like a certain cal per hour. So my goal with doing this one was move the barbell fast, get on the rower, and then try and stay above 1400 on the row. And well, we'll see. I also wasn't sure. I'm like, man, I tested out. I'm like, is touch and go worth it? Like obviously it's faster, but I can do 5 singles 4 or 5 seconds slower than touch and go. But it felt really good and light in the beginning, so I was like, just do it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, one of the things that
I'm pretty happy with how those look.
Yeah,
catching really vertical.
They look great. I mean, you've always been a good barbell cycler. I think the problem is
thanks,
that it
man.
catches. Yeah. You want to kiss?
No.
He gets so uncomfortable. Well, never mind. I'm not going to call. I'm not going to say anything.
You get so comfortable what? When you try to kiss him?
Back to the video.
I was going to say one of the things I will mention in the tip video is like you have to kind of know
This is
the
tip
type.
video.
Oh, this is a tip video. All in the same video now. You got to know what type of athlete you are, and so like if cycling the barbell is going to blow you up where you end up ruining yourself on the row where you're like 900, then it's not worth it because you lose so much time on the row even with 10 cals.
Yeah, definitely. So there, I was moving fast on the touch and go, but I could start to feel like when you do touch and go like that versus fast singles, the amount of time you're under tension, just like you don't get a break. And like, it sounds simple, like going 10 calories, 5 snatches back and forth, but like trying to move fast to a transition, which I'm not moving super fast.
It's slowed down.
You're still like under tension, like leaning over, getting down to the rower, like your legs just really don't get a rest. So I did like a couple of touch and go and then thought, all right, just keep fast singles to like drop the tension a little bit. And I mean, from here, it was just like, my breathing felt okay, but it was just so much legs right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 9 minutes of rowing, the total time of all the intervals. So
that's really what it is. You think about it, if you did even 3 rounds of each, that's 90 cals of rowing and only 15 snatches, 15 thrusters, and 30 wall balls.
Yeah,
so
it's not a lot of other work.
So much rowing involved, and you have to stay hot on that.
Yeah, I kept trying to get that extra calorie there.
What would you expect people to get, like the highest level if Travis was doing this workout? Where would you be?
Honestly, the first one, I don't think it'd be a lot. I don't think it'd be that much more than what I got just because of how short it is and like how much transition there was in the workout. Yeah. So what did I get? I think I got 3 plus the row on the first one. I'll have to double check that.
You did 3 plus 16, so I think you were 4 cals away from 4 rounds.
Oh yeah, that's right. Something
so
like that.
Right over a 45-second pace per round.
Yeah,
which is hot. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just got to row a lot harder on that one. The wall balls, you're not going to speed that up relative to what I was doing. So they would get, maybe into the wall balls of the next round. On this one, I think they could, like Travis is someone who could recover so much better than I could after the first one. He'd be able to get close to 4 rounds on this one. I was 3 rounds. I think he might be able to hang on to touch and go on the snatch. But again, like he would probably still be rowing just as hard as he was in the first one.
Yeah. I mean, if you did 4 rounds across the board, that's 45 seconds a round. So you'd have to kind of strategize to, like, even if you did singles and snatches and say it took 20 seconds, your row would have to be less than 25 seconds. And obviously faster transitions.
Yeah. And I mean, like looking at it too, like go 3 minutes hard, rest 2 minutes, 3 minutes hard, rest 2 minutes, 3 minutes hard. Like ideally, like I wanted to have my efforts increasing. Like I would have liked to have paced correctly where like I had gas left to like push even harder at the end, but you're racing people in this and everyone was gonna go out really hot on the first one and like it was 3 scores, not the best effort you could do across all 3 of them. So that just changes your plan a little bit. And like that's so different from what you would do in a competition if it's total reps across all 3 workouts combined.
Yeah. If it is 3 scores in the comp, I mean, I think the best guys and girls probably just, they're going all out the entire time and hope that they can recover. I mean, the best in the sport can recover, maybe not to full recovery in 2 minutes, but they're recovering a lot more than most of us.
I mean, the sport's just demanding that now. Like people are just able to go out so hard now, close to their like max effort, and just hang on. Like they're just dealing with it. Like
you can see Vince in the background here warming up for his.
Yeah.
Everyone that's judging is about to go in like 20 minutes after them, so they're like loosening up. Rob was over in the corner, like stretching his quad.
I think I was telling him that. I think I was like, "Hey man, keep squatting right now, stay warm, because it's
Mike, the
your legs are
athlete
getting
and
blown
coach.
up." Whatever I can do to distract myself from the pain I'm in right now.
Keep warming up. Trust
people
me.
always say that. They're like, "You always look so comfortable," and I'm like, "I'm dying." I don't know. Maybe I just hide it, but like I am trying. I'm not getting sloppy yet, I guess.
There are 2 types of people that look comfortable. Ones that aren't actually working hard and are always going slow, and then ones that just are good hiders. I think you're a pretty good hider. But I mean, that's the way you have to be, right? Like it messes everybody else up.
Yeah. I don't think that's intentional. I think it's just how I am. I'm not over here like going, I'm trying to like mind fuck everyone into thinking like, oh, he's super fine. I don't know. I think it's just how I carry myself in it. Max has also held me to a pretty high standard after workouts to get off my ass and not try and roll around and lay around. I still have my days though. The open was pretty bad.
All right, last one, 5 thruster, 10 cal row.
I was like, woohoo, these are easy.
Until the second round?
Even until the last rep here, I was like, oh, okay.
The nice thing here with you is you can always do 5 pretty fast. Like squatting is so good.
It was weird because I was like, okay, I'll be able to just roll back and forth between this one. Like it's just rowing and 5 thrusters, quick transition, but like, it's like getting back on and doing 10 thrusters with how hard you're trying to pull on the row to keep your calories up. So like when I go back to the bar here in a second, I'm like, oh no, it didn't recover like I thought it would.
I mean, it is literally, you're just squatting the entire time.
Yeah.
Because even with your row, I mean, it's so much knee flexion.
Yep. Yeah, again, like, so this just comes down, like, to me, like, the biggest thing I saw was just, like, what kind of row pace can you maintain through this whole thing? Because most people are going to hang on to doing 5 thrusters unbroken. And it just comes down to what's your power output on the row right now.
And transitions. I think, I saw a couple people that at the first round, they transitioned to the row fast, and then it got slower, and then by the third round, it was like deathly slow.
I mean, and I don't know if that's a lesson that we need to like go back and cover, but like I feel like that was something that we talked about so much in 19.1. So like for those of you watching this that like haven't seen our 19.1 videos, like go back and watch that one, and we just talk about the importance, and we show the numbers and the data on like how important transitions are back and forth, and how you just can't waste time on workouts like that, especially when it's 3 minutes long like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like that's free.
Yeah.
That's free to you without any extra work. Obviously, you're tired, but still, like, get back on the row and just start pulling. Because even if you're not pulling hard, if you get back on the row and, like, get it going, then once you start pulling hard, it'll get a cal right away.
Yep. This is where I'm like, all right, I thought I'd have gas to push, and I'm just like, my legs are smoked. This one, so to me, like a mental break that helped with this, though, like, I hate the break I took there. That makes me mad. It's just, like, you get halfway through the workout, and I know about how much work I've done, so I'm like, all right. From there, instead of thinking of it like an AMRAP, I'm thinking of it as what's my work left to complete. You know, so like to me, chipping away on an AMRAP is so much easier when I break it down to thinking of it as, okay, I have 3 rounds for time.
Yeah.
Like that's so much easier to me mentally than it is of like, all right, 2 more minutes of work. Like that just like mentally like really screws me up. I also noticed that my knee sleeves never actually went on my knees.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I thought there was rope climbs in the workout or something.
All right, someone's asked me about that before, and like, I don't know, I think Rich does it too, but what I when I wear them around my calves like that, I get just a little bit of compression in the knee instead of it having them both completely around the knee, where when you fold it, you get like double the thickness. I don't want that much. It's too much tension in my knees. So like when I wear them around my calves like that, it adds just like a little bit of support in the bottom of the squat.
Oh, I love the transition there. It must be the compression.
It was the last little bit here. I had to go. And then, it's time. Only 4, I think.
It. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that hurt. That was a pretty nasty one. That was a fun workout, though.
I'm looking forward to seeing the scores on this one.
Yeah, I like the style of that. I mean, it's going to be like, you're going to have a lot of people that are so close to the scores in it, but like finishing the thrusters and then getting 5 more calories of rowing is like a lot more time than something like that.
Huge.
Even though like on paper it's only 6 reps, but that's a lot of extra work.
Well, congratulations on
on
your big win.
Oh yeah, man, I appreciate that. Travis is back in town now, so I had to enjoy it while it was there.
Back to you, future Brandon.
Hey! Dang, Brandon, you looked way more handsome yesterday.
Yeah,
what happened to your face?
Early morning today.
I
It's
disagree.
rough.
Brandon's looking sharp today.
Thank you.
All right,
You're always so nice.
Let's take a look at what happened from some of the athletes that did this workout.
Keep a good pace because it's only 3 minutes. Just be tough on the row. The other movements make your legs really tired, so it's just so natural to want to just like slow down on the rower. Man, pick a pace and just try and stick with it. Be really tough with it.
Just fast transitions between the movements and the rower. Just get in and start pulling right away. Don't wait to get your feet set in. And just keep moving because it's only 3 minutes and it goes really fast.
Push yourself harder than you think you would normally go so that you actually find your limits and you don't hold your own self back.
I guess embrace the pain, just get in that comfort zone and be prepared to be uncomfortable.
Get in the comfort zone and prepare to be uncomfortable.
Just like Yogi Berra, baby, Yogi Berra.
Eat something, but not too closely. Take off your shirt, makes it better.
Just send it.
Just send it. That's great. That's great advice.
It.
I'm not sure with that
It's-
advice that we actually need to film any more
No.
of
Well,
this.
it's great advice for the first one, and then
Okay.
after that, you might get blown up.
Well, let's break down these workouts so that we can actually give people some concrete pacing and strategy here and see what we can come up with.
All right, so the overall thoughts here is when you look at this, it may look easy or not as hard as it actually will get.
10 wall ball, 10 calories row, 3
Like,
minute
oh,
AMRAP.
no problem,
Yeah.
I can do that. I did 19.1, which was 15 minutes of that.
It's short enough that you're like, oh yeah, it's just a 3 minute window. This is gonna be fast. I'm not gonna necessarily get that blown up, but
obviously, if you look at the grand scheme of things, it's 3-minute AMRAPs, a 2-minute rest in between, unless you're like the elite level CrossFitters that we see at the games.
not recovered.
You're not recovered. And even them, they're not recovered, but they just recover faster
Yeah.
than the average person. So obviously, you gotta look at it as like, I gotta figure out to get my best score. I still have to pace, knowing that 2 minutes, I'll recover a little bit, but it's only good enough for like that first round of the next AMRAP, and then you're gonna start getting blown up again.
I think to put it in perspective, you need to look at the full workout. So what happens if you get 3 rounds on each of these 3 minute AMRAPs?
Right, so it's 90 wall balls, and then it's only 30 wall balls, 90 cal row, only 30 wall balls, but 30 wall balls at heavy wall balls, and you're going back and forth pretty fast, so it's a lot of legs, and then 15 snatches, 15 thrusters. It adds up.
The one thing with the 90 calories row, if you think about that, that's not just 90 calories row, which could be very doable if you're doing it like a moderate pace in the middle of a longer workout. These are 90 calories row in short 3 minute AMRAPs, so you're really gonna have to be pushing. We were talking before, and we were just talking about like male rowing paces, and we're like, oh man, a lot of the guys were like in the 1500s in the first round, and then by the last round they were under 1,000.
Yeah,
so that's
they blew up.
That's males over 1500 dropping to under 1,000 by the end of this workout. So
Right.
that should give you an idea of how much the row by the end of this can potentially get impacted.
Yeah, just like 19.1, the row matters most. That's where you're spending most of your time, and since it's in each of the 3 minute AMRAPs, you're going to be spending almost all of your time in each of those on the row, and that's the movement too that you can make up the most time. So when we talk about separation value like we have in the past, that's the only movement that you can really create separation. On 10 wall balls, like even if you broke the wall balls, which most people won't, it's only a 3 or 4 second break. Okay, but if you're going at 1,000 and other guys are going at 1,600, or if you're a lady at 700 and other ladies are at 1,200, you're talking about 10 to 15 seconds a round. And if you're getting 3 or 4 rounds, that's a huge gap. It's over a round total.
And that's
every AMRAP.
just in 10 calories too. That's a huge difference. And the other thing that I think, when I look at this, it's like, okay, there are a lot of transitions involved in this workout, into and out of the rower. That is one of the places where people waste the most time that I've seen. So from my perspective, one of the most effective ways to get into the rower, get one foot in, get a really solid pull, get your other foot in, leave the straps loose. You don't have time in a workout like this to fumble with the straps. Just leave them loose, stick your feet in, and go. And then when you're transitioning out of the rower, get out of it as fast as possible. Like, don't set the handle, step off, slowly like transition over to the wall ball. You want to make that as quick as possible so that you're moving fast when other people are, you know, taking it easy on their transitions. Or if you're transitioning when someone else is in the middle of their row, like you're already getting into the next movement and making some ground up.
Yeah, so two things. One, the transitions are just free. They're free for everyone. Like there's no extra work there. Obviously you are tired as you're transitioning, I get that. But getting back on the rower and just starting your pulls is just free work for you.
I think that's
making
discipline.
Some cows. Yeah, it is discipline. But I mean, that's the easiest way to speed up your time.
Absolutely.
It's not like, oh, I gotta gain a ton of capacity on the row or I gotta be better at my wall balls. It's like, just move a little bit faster between them. And then the other thing is when you set it up to where it's fast to get on and off the row to the wall ball, or have your barbell right next to your rower so that you can get onto the snatches or onto the thrusters. I saw a couple of people kind of mismanage this on site and probably on purpose because they wanted some breaks, but like have it all perpendicular to where they got off the row and they walked back to their barbell. But I clocked one of my athletes doing it and it took him 12 seconds to get over there to do his first set of snatches. I'm like, if you're doing that got 3 rounds, that's 36 seconds.
Use his name, call him out.
Yeah, I'm not calling, no call outs.
You could literally, so if you're taking a 12-second transition, you could literally set your bar up closer, have a 3-second transition, and if you had a long transition, you're planning to go touch and go, that 12 seconds already negates the advantage from touch and go, and all you're doing with touch and go is making yourself tired.
Yep.
So the advantage here is a fast transition and go straight to singles.
Yep. Just get on the bar and start. It's just like with anything else we've talked about. If you can get to the next movement quickly, and even if it is singles, do a rep and then settle into whatever pace and work to rest ratio that you need to manage your time. But if you wait in between movements, that's where you're losing a ton of time.
I've even seen really intuitive athletes like Travis do something where they'll transition and do 1 rep.
Yep.
And then do their touch and go sets.
Yes.
So it's like transition right from the row, this wouldn't work for the thrusters obviously, but do 1 snatch, drop it, and then do your touch and go set. That way you're like setting yourself up, like you said, with your feel or something like that. That can be a really effective strategy for this workout.
And then the other thing too that I notice is, especially as you get tired, what happens is you get on the row and what happens? Your first 4 or 5 pulls are like at 400 cals per hour. I know it hurts, but you've got to get on there and be a little bit more aggressive than you want to be with your first and second pull to get the row basically up to wherever your goal pace is, and then start getting some cals to tick away.
That's a good point. So one of the things that I talk to my athletes about often is time to first cal. It doesn't matter how fast your transition time was. What the real measurement of your transition is how much time it takes you to get from your movement to the first cal on the rower. And honestly, getting the rower to go from 0 to 1 takes the longest amount of time. So if you're going to put in extra effort on the rower, put it in on that getting to that first cal to close that gap.
And then you can slow down and kind of cruise the rest of the way or find the pace that feels comfortable. And once you get the flywheel spinning, it's obviously easier. Right. It is the first couple that are harder, but that's also where you can make up a lot of time. We've done some studies on that.
Lean into the rower, get a little bit more of your body weight pressing into it. Make sure you've got really effective rowing mechanics, driving legs first, then hips, then arms. Don't over pull with your arms in a workout like this. You're just gonna gas out your arms. I mean, that's general rowing advice, but very effective for short, high power output workouts like this.
So big picture for this, the row matters most. You've got to be diligent on there. Pick a pace that you know that you can maintain throughout. You can obviously be a little more aggressive with the wall balls, right? It's a little bit easier to kind of go back and forth as far as going from the row to the wall ball. On the snatches and the thrusters, you still want to pick a pace on the row that you can hold aggressively, but those obviously, like with thrusters, you're probably going to have to do 5 unbroken, which is going to matter.
I think looking at it, to me, the heavy wall ball can definitely play a factor, especially if you're someone who hasn't had a lot of experience with the 30 or the 20-pound ball. So just keep in mind that, I know you talked about this for 19.1 when we did our breakdown video. Is there any advantage to potentially breaking this 5.5 if you don't have much experience with the heavier ball?
Yeah, if you don't have much experience and it's hard for you, most likely you're probably not a good rower too. That's the only problem here is like if you can't do 10, you're probably not very powerful on the row. So that may negate it. But I will say this, I messed around with it. I didn't do this workout this week just because I was having some knee issues, but I did 5.5 with a 4-second break and then just held 1,800 on the row, and I could easily get 4 rounds in the 3-minute window, and very few people were even getting close to that because the row matters so much more than you think. So yes, you can break the wall balls if you're a good rower. Is it worth it? I mean, who knows? If you're falling off to like 1,200 on your last round, then it probably makes sense to just like only save up for the row and that's your focus. But most people will be able to do 10 wall balls.
If you guys are listening to this, what I think the takeaway here is that Brandon is one of the best strategists for getting the most out of himself possible that I have met. And I think there's a lot to be taken away when he's talking about strategy, how to break it down, or like, hey, you can break this with 4 seconds in between here and still get away with 4+ rounds. Now, granted, Brandon's got a ton of capacity, but I think there's a lot to be said with effective breakdowns and effective strategies like that.
I'm thinking about time under tension and making sure that I can still breathe throughout the workout. The 30-pound ball is heavy, so if you do 5, that's 10 seconds. You drop the ball for 4 seconds, you do another 5. That's actually less than 10 seconds for me. I have a little shorter squat depth. So I'm back on the rower after 20 seconds, and then I know if I want to keep a 45-second per round, which is 4 rounds in 3 minutes, that I just have to make sure that I stay over 1650. And at 1800, I was off in 21 seconds every time. So I was ahead of the clock the entire time. There's just little things that you can do, and you've got to be intuitive about that. You got to listen to your body. Right. But that's why we're doing these videos, so that people can start thinking about it and then feel it for themselves when they're doing these tests.
I find it ironic that the guy who pays attention to so much detail is over here paying homage to Game of Thrones with the coffee cup.
Well, you spilled half of my coffee before this, so I'm making sure I'm protecting it. I need my caffeine. You called me out last week.
That was like 3 weeks ago.
Sitting on the Iron Throne. All right, so Brandon, there's one other big component with this week that we haven't seen in any of the other weeks that we've done, and that is the fact that there are 3 separate scores for this workout.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about how you would game a workout that has 3 separate scores versus if this were total reps?
Right, so I think the easier way to go is if this was just total reps, still the 3-minute AMRAP with a 2-minute rest in between, the way we would look at it is which AMRAP can we get the most reps the easiest? And then that would be the one that we really, really attack, right? So it probably would be the wall ball row just because it's easier to transition faster and you can really burn out there.
And you can cycle the wall ball a little bit faster than a thruster or a snatch, right?
Yeah, and just the fact that it has more reps in it, you can kind of chip away.
Yep.
So that would probably make the most sense. Like attack that one, take the middle one a little easier if you have good squatting endurance, and then go to the thrusters and go as fast as you can there.
That's also the most painful strategy.
That is the most painful, but usually to get the most reps, it's going to be the most painful strategy there, right? So that would be the way that we'd go if we knew that this was a qualifier workout where they just said, hey, it's total reps across the board. Doesn't matter how you get them or where you get them. You just got to go with total reps.
Right.
Obviously, this was 3 separate scores. So the way that we look at this is probably actually even more painful because now we have to keep a steady pace throughout, but it's got to be hot to be competitive here. So what would you recommend for that?
Yeah, I think the best way that I would approach it is first and foremost, pick an aggressive rowing pace and try and hold that on the first one. And then I would expect that it would deteriorate on each of the subsequent ones, but focus when I get started, focus on being at like 95% effort across that first 3-minute AMRAP. At 95%, that's gonna allow me to recover quite a bit more than if I were at 100%. That little just under your red line, if you stay just under that, you recover so much faster than if you spill over that red line in the middle of a workout like this. So for me, that's probably like, you said 1850 for your row pace. Mine's not 1850, mine's like 1650 on a workout like this, especially coupled with heavy wall balls. So that's gonna be my approach, is the fastest transitions I possibly can get, trying to make up ground right there, make up ground on the transitions, and then go unbroken on the wall ball and try and maintain that 1650 across. Then on the next one, just assume that whatever pace I hold on the first 10 calories on the snatch row is what I'm gonna hold across for that, and just try and hold that all the way across. And then assume that for the final one, whatever I deteriorate to on the first set is what I'm gonna hold all the way across. So it might be like 1650, 1500, 1350. I'm also a pretty good rower. So.
Yeah, but you have to expect you're gonna fall off a little bit.
Exactly.
But should you have a bottom target? Like, I need to make sure that I'm over 1300.
You know, I think that in some cases it's probably not possible to just be like, I'm never gonna go below 1200, because the reality is you still have to go unbroken on the thrusters on the last set. And so if you have to back off the row pace just a little bit to ensure that you can go unbroken on that last set of 5, I mean, that might be necessary depending on where you're at, how good your thrusters are, and how fatigued you are. And I've seen games level athletes fail a 135-pound thruster before when their legs are that tired. And I think a workout like this can get your legs that tired.
Yeah. So the last but not least, would you single the snatches, or would you try to go unbroken on those? Or what would you recommend for the average person?
With my capacity right now, I would probably go singles and just cycle them really quick. Not even really let the bar settle, hit, grab it, to the next one. But I think that most people could probably approach this going at least the first set unbroken, And then after that, maybe break it down to like 3-2 and then singles.
Get ahead of the
if
clock.
they get to the third set, go to singles or something like that.
Cool. So guys, the setup, scaling, warm up, all of that's gonna be in the description below. And we have an Insta Spotlight for last week's workout and a really good one at that.
Woo! All right, Daniel Kearns. She's got her team Ben & Jerry's or Halo Top.
yeah.
Yep. This is a pretty awesome group of people throwing down.
On Instagram last week, I said pro tip: if you tag a friend, make sure they bring ice cream. And so here they are with their ice cream.
They got it all planned
I love
out.
it. All right, what's this week?
This week,
Donuts.
this week, I don't know.
Starbucks coffee.
Donuts, because you can bring a dozen. You get 12 people. Anyone who's got 12 or more people.
Or a
next week
baker's
can,
dozen and have 13.
They get the Insta shout out.
Sure.
All right, donuts it is.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Patar in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tank's YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, let it be known, what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Patar.